JRE 1953, Duncan Trussell explores a chilling idea. What if some conspiracy theories exist to hide bigger truths?
When deception is happening in this massive, focused way, and it's being put out there by geniuses who are so good at propaganda, and then, yeah, are they lying about the shape of the Earth? No. Are they lying about where COVID came from? Are they lying about all the millions of things that they've lied about in the past on record in history books? Yes.
Right, but wouldn't you think that creating a movement wrapped around something like flat Earth would be a great way to discredit people that believe in alternative theories?
Yeah.
Or if you could get someone to believe in flat Earth that also thinks 9/11 was an inside job, what a great catch. Because now you've completely discredited one theory by introducing one that everybody believes is nonsense.
But this is where it goes back to personal responsibility. Like, if you're going to, if you're gonna like jump off the tracks and head off into the dark forest, your job is not just to like read it and it sounds cool and then believe it. Like, your job is to like, there was this whole don't do your own research, just fucking believe whatever the fuck they're saying, right? But I think the critique should not be don't do your own research. It should be do your research right. Do it correctly. Do your research the way scientists do research. Find something, verify it multiple times. Do it the way journalists do it, and then you can believe it.
But there's a very real problem. There's a very real problem. And that real problem is very gullible people of low intelligence that are easily tricked into things, and they can be duped. And they can't discern the difference between something that's true and not true. There's certain people that are just not good at it. They get sucked into religious cults. They get sucked into believing all kinds of shit. They get robbed by door-to-door salesmen. Like, some people are just not that sophisticated. That's real. So, like, how do you protect those people? Or do you not? Do you just make survival of the fittest intellectually? Figure out what the scams are. Figure out what's horseshit. Figure it out on your own.
Man, I think that it's like you
kind of have to, right?
I think that, number one, yes, of course you're right. But like the blanket assumption, I think that there's a real bullshit idea that I think there's less dumb people than a lot of people would like to believe. And that sort of brushing off people, like, a lot of times you're like dealing with like a lazy, curious person more than a dumb person.
Yeah, but there's just numbers, Duncan. I mean, it's just 300 million people in this country plus, right? Whatever it is. If just 1% of them are dumb as fuck, that's a lot of people that are dumb as fuck. And you could shift things all kinds of ways by influencing really dumb people.
JRE number 1226. Mike Baker reveals a chilling possibility. What if modern technology can control vehicles remotely and hide something bigger?
Not boner. I meant a burner. Hello, Freud. A burner phone.
Well, the good thing is I can fit my boner in there too.
That's
which is
the thing
good.
that most burner phones come with boners, right?
That's
the reason why
exactly
you're
right.
getting a burner
phone.
is
As
because
soon
you
as you
got
get
a
that
boner.
burner, you got a boner, and then it's a great vehicle. And like I said, my kids love it. Muggsy and Scooter and Sluggo. And,
that's interesting that you got it because you can't track you with it, and also they can't. Let me ask you this. This is a tough one. I want to ask you two conspiracy ones, but this one's a tough one. Michael Hastings. Do you know his case? Do you know his story?
Yeah.
What do you think happened there? Well, let's explain what happened. Who he was. He was a journalist. He was embedded in was it in Iraq during the war? He was writing a story for Rolling Stone, and he was writing about which general was it? McCaskill?
McChrystal. It was McChrystal. Stanley McChrystal. Yeah.
So he wrote this story, and apparently, while this happened, the Iceland volcano went off. So they suspended air travel. So he was stuck there far longer than he was supposed to be. And people got comfortable with this guy being around.
Right.
And so they behaved the way they behaved. They made some jokes about things. He apparently made some jokes about Obama. This guy Michael Hastings put all this stuff in Rolling Stone. It wound up being a huge scandal.
Yep.
McChrystal had to step down, and there was a lot of people that hated that guy. And a lot of people loved McChrystal. And he was a highly respected general.
Yeah, absolutely.
He had to step down from his position, and next thing you know, X amount of time later, this guy drives his car 150 miles an hour into a tree. It blows up, engine goes flying, the whole deal. The conspiracy theory was that there was a way, because he had a brand new Mercedes, there was a way that they could take over the controls of your vehicle, the acceleration, the braking, the steering, and they could do all this remotely. If they put something in your car, like we were talking about, if you could get a hold of this television, you could turn that television into a receiver.
Right.
Do you think that it's possible that someone could have gotten a hold of his car and made him suicide himself?
Two parts to it. One is it possible that you can take control of a vehicle, a modern vehicle?
Yes,
not
modern,
my,
right? Not that Wagoneer.
not the Woody, not the Woody as we call it. So yes, it's absolutely possible that you can take. There's no two ways about
acceleration, steering, everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you've got and I mean, think about people should think about it. Think about the OnStar, or think about the ability for your car to send data. To the vehicle manufacturer, right? To tell them, what's going on with your vehicle.
Right.
That's a handshake operation, right? Once you do that means there's an exchange of information. What does that mean? Well, that means you can access. Can you access that information? Sure, of course you can. Does that mean you can then take physical control? Sure. It's just another iteration of the exchange of information, right? Software can take control of physical systems. So the first part is yes. Is it possible that car could have been taken over? Sure. Do I think that's what's happened? I have no idea. I really don't.
Of course.
But it's certainly a possibility. I mean, when I hear people talk about certain conspiracy theories, I look at it and go, "There's just no fucking way that could happen."
Like what one? What one do you say no fucking way?
Actually, now I'm having a hard time thinking of one. I like the theory that with every burner phone you get a boner. That's I can't imagine that could happen, but it sounds good.
I think I've been misunderstood. What I'm saying is you get the burner phone because you have a boner already. You're trying to get rid of the.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Boner.
Okay, now I get. Okay, I got the priorities wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Tell your secretary to get a burner phone too, and you meet her at the old.
That's it.
Hotel, motel, Holiday Inn.
Oh man, just like Jeff Bezos.
JRE 2273. After decades studying conspiracies, he says the biggest mystery wasn't aliens, it was God.
I was very interested by this because I've looked at every conspiracy theory, moon landing, 9/11, JFK, I mean, all kinds of conspiracies. The one I'd never looked at, and now, I'm 58, so I'm like, okay, let me look at this one, is God. And I said, let me see about this God thing. I've never been a religious guy. And so I start reading and I start talking to people. I also found that around me, like a couple of people I was working with, they're all Christians. And not that anyone was ever pushing anything on me. When I asked them questions, they were gladly answered. And there's a lot of stuff written about Jesus. There's a lot written, thousands of years of books. And there's some contemporary stuff such as evidence demands a verdict. And, this just is so much. And I got to tell you, Joe, as sure as I know that Building 7 didn't fall down out of sympathy for Building 1 and 2, God is real, Jesus existed, he was a badass outlaw, and it has changed my outlook on life. It has really changed the way I look at things. And I believe that we can win with God. I know that may sound a little weird coming from me, but I'm all in on this. And, I'm not you may think of someone who believes in God or Jesus as a crazy right-wing nut job, which I'm obviously not. But man, it's powerful stuff when you put prayer into your life. It's really powerful. The Holy Spirit.
I don't think there's anything weird about it at all. I mean, I think there's a reason why it exists, why it's so prevalent in so many cultures. It helps people.
It's about love.
Yeah,
It's all about love.
Yeah. You think Jesus' role was? Who do you think he was?
Well, he was literally the Son of God, and he was on the earth to teach, and he wandered. I mean, he was an outlaw. He did some crazy shit. He overturned the tax tables, and he really railed against a lot of stuff.
Why do you think, based on what information that you have, why do you think that he existed?
Jesus had to die after teaching us how to live a good life and how to be a good person, which is all about love. And that was to absolve us of our sins, which is kind of a cool out. So everyone's a sinner, everyone's fucked up, everyone's flawed, but you are forgiven for that as long as you try to be better. I mean, that's literally every book in the Bible is about. Like I was reading this morning, I forget what it was, but it's like Jesus said, be quick to listen, slow to answer, and slow to get angry. And I took that here, because I remember last time I was here, which was over a year ago, and a lot of people said, dude, you're a fucking asshole. You keep interrupting Joe. And I did. And you even said, oh, calm down, Adam, calm down. You're excited to talk.
But that's just normal excitedness. You're not being an asshole.
But it's better if I listen. It makes everything better. So it's just small things like that. But ultimately, it's 100% about love and knowing that it can be beaten. This evil in the world can be fought against. In fact, it's probably already done. And I'm just new to this, Joe, so I can't answer everything. But I love studying it. I love reading. It's fascinating material, and there's so much there. It's really fascinating.
A person being the actual Son of God, I would need a lot of evidence to believe that.
Evidence Demands a Verdict would be a great book to read. But just as I know that JFK was assassinated, and I really believe the CIA was involved because it's been written. I've just read documents. So when you look into the Bible and everything that's been written about the Bible, that's 100 million times more has been written about that, and it's survived all these years. So I'm just someone who reads.
Writes about The Shining, and a bunch of people review the writing of The Shining and write about The Shining, it doesn't mean that The Shining actually happened. Just because so many people are writing about this particular religion doesn't mean that there was a person.
But they haven't written about.
Doesn't mean they weren't. I'm not saying they were. I'm not saying I know. But I'm saying it doesn't mean that man was the Son of God.
I'm just telling you, my process is when I investigate things, and to me it was a conspiracy theory. Like, I'm just going to start reading, and I read for 3 weeks until I gave up and said, I can keep reading, but all the evidence just is thrown at me over and over and over again. If I'm going to believe certain things about JFK or 9/11 or whatever, which I've read as much as I can, but there's not that much. It's just for my own conscience. I have to, if I'm going to believe that after reading 50 years of documentation versus that. Thousands of years of documentation.
But it's thousands of years of documentation of a story. It's interesting that some people would rather not get there and rather be in a shitty, depressed state as long as they're not duped. but you've been duped by life. Of
course.
Because your life sucks. I know a lot of atheists that are super depressed.
The idea is not that God fixes everything. The idea is if you can believe in it and can put yourself in a mindset, I'm just looking at a little abstract now.
Yes.
You put yourself in a mindset that things can happen, that miracles do happen, that things do impact your life, and that you look at things in a different way. You're not always completely fucked up about this is not happening for me or that's not happening. Do
you think it's like psychological software that you can run? Like your belief in God. Do you think that's like psychological software that you could just run and they're like, ooh, look, everything's smoother?
No, it's not. No, because everything isn't smoother, but you at least don't freak out when shit isn't smooth.
Right. I don't mean it in a derogatory way
or
in a negative way.
I know.
What I mean is like, is that why it's effective? That it's like a natural thing that you could run and it's been honed over time. It only makes sense that it has been,
Well, here you go. I love this.
So it just sort of slides.
What is the software? What is the code? It's the Bible. It is the gospel, Scripture. That is, if you want to look at it that way, it is the code that you run in your brain, and it does things for you.
Yeah.
So that's a way of looking at it. And that's a kind of a good way, actually. I hadn't thought of that one. I like that.
Yeah, like a psychological software.
Sure.
But the problem is, if he was really good at it and really successful in a time when people were not very sophisticated, he could probably pull it off. And then when he dies, everybody would say he was the Son of God.
Sure.
And we don't know.
No.
So how would you know that this guy who lived 2,000 plus years ago
That's why.
is actually the Son of God?
That's why I call myself a believer.
Because you just believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've seen what it has done for my own life.
What does it do for your own life when you believe?
It makes me a very happy person. Prayer does work, not if you're asking for stuff for yourself, but I've experienced. It's not really just the miracles that I've experienced, but it really makes me happy. Good things have been happening.
So you just find it effective. It works for you.
Yeah, of course.
And so you're just saying
Yeah.
this has helped your life. How can you possibly
You can
prove?
never get to the end. Of course not.
Right.
But
you can never prove. You could prove that people believed it.
Yeah.
But how could you
You're
prove
correct.
that someone was actually the Son of God?
No.
Or are we all?
Of course, we're
So
all
then,
God.
of course he
We're
was.
100% God.
So if he was
He was-
one of
but
us,
he was the teacher,
then he
though.
was the Son of God, because we're all children of
I'm
God.
with that. I'm with
right?
that, yeah.
Maybe that's the answer. Maybe it's a puzzle. Jesus.
That's right. Help me, Jesus. Help me, Jesus.
Help me, Jesus.
Why has gold always been priceless? Some believe the answer isn't human at all.
But is owning gold gonna help you when I'm like on a leash from a warlord? You know,
Do you
they're
know-
eating off my back.
Do you know the most fun conspiracy theory about gold?
No.
It's a really good one. It's from the work of Zechariah Sitchin, who was one of the guys who translated the ancient Sumerian texts. And he believed that the human race is a product of accelerated evolution, and that the Sumerian text depicts these godlike beings called the Anunnaki who come here from a planet called Nibiru that's on an elliptical orbit. Every 3,600 years it comes between us and Mars. It causes cataclysms because of the gravity and all the chaos. But that these beings came down here and inserted their DNA into lower primates and created this being. And one of the reasons why it came here was because gold is very difficult to find in the universe. Now, if that's the truth about the Earth only has that much gold, imagine that one of the reasons why these beings gave us this desire to have gold, why gold was so popular always, early on, and it was a useless metal. So what if it was pretty? How come you could buy a house with bags of gold? Shouldn't you have steel for a sword or for arrowheads or something like that?
Salt.
Well, anything would be more valuable. Well, salt was very valuable.
Yeah,
at one
yeah.
time. But this is different because this is like a form of money. Like, why has it universally been regarded as valuable, like really early on? And what he said was that they realized that they could take these suspended particles of gold and put them in their atmosphere, and it would protect them because their atmosphere was eroding. And so this would be like reflective particles they spray in the atmosphere.
Like what Bill Gates wants to do, where he like blocks.
So this
out
is
the
what's
sun.
crazy about this. This guy wrote about this in like the 1970s. He wrote this, what is it called? The 12th Planet, I think. That was the first of them. I think he wrote multiple books on this, on the Sumerian text. But I think it was like the 1970s or somewhere around then, they were having this sort of symposium on what to do in the sense of like ozone depletion and climate change. Like, is there a way to suspend reflective particles in the atmosphere to block out some of the harmful rays of the sun? So that was their idea. So what this book is trying to say is the reason why humans are obsessed with gold is because like the aliens designed us to mine and get the gold, and then they would use that gold to protect their atmosphere.
So they impregnated us with this idea that gold has value.
Yeah.
Because they need it to enhance their ability to keep living.
It's a fun idea.
It's
a
very
fun
fun.
idea.
All that
if
shit's
you're
fun.
if you're doing bong hits and you're like
If you're
watching
high on
documentaries.
hallucinogenic honey, and you hear Joe Rogan saying it in your head.
It's cool when you see Zechariah Sitchin too, because he's this like very scholarly looking gentleman with an awesome name, and he's like pointing out all these different things like the caduceus, the sign of medicine, like the universal sign of medicine.
Yeah.
He's like, that's the double helix of DNA. That's what that is. That's why it snakes around like that. And he says, and it represents medicine in ancient Sumer. And it also, like, it's present in these very weird stone tablets. Some of these stone tablets have images of this, like, enormous being with this human-like creature on its lap, but the thing has a tail. Whoa. It's really weird. Yeah. It's really weird stuff.
Some investigators believe history closed the Hitler case too quickly. What were they trying to hide?
Oh, he's unique.
What is Finding Hitler all about? This is a show that you're on, and it's on A&E? Is that what it's on?
Yeah, A&E is the parent network. It airs on History Channel, and we just had our 3rd season that just finished airing.
What's the thought process behind this? Is it legit? Because a lot of people are like, Finding Hitler, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
They found Hitler, he died.
Yeah, I mean,
not really.
We don't know.
Right.
That's. I mean, this isn't like Ancient Aliens. This is They declassified a bunch of documents. Both the Israelis, the British, and the Germans and Americans in the past 20 years have been consistently declassifying documents. And there were a bunch of specifically FBI documents that we were spending millions and millions of dollars actively searching for Hitler after the war.
Really?
Yeah, like millions of dollars. Like Hoover was like, no, send more FBI agents to South America, to North Africa, go to the Canary Islands, go to Spain, trying to find out where this guy went. Tons of real FBI documents with real leads, with real informants, some some first eye accounts saying that they physically. So anyways, that's the show, is us trying to find out, sift through reality and the fiction of the allure, the mystery of that asshole.
So what's the official story? The official story is that he killed himself, right?
Yep.
He killed himself in the bunker with Ava Braun.
Yep.
And is there any photographic evidence of his death or anything?
Yeah. So the Russians got the body, and they got his skull. And when they brought it back to Moscow, nobody has ever been able to independently verify who and what this body is. They let one genetic test occur, and the body with the bullet holes that they said was Hitler, and have said, and that's the narrative, that's the story, that's all the eyewitness accounts that are even in the vicinity of collaborating with each other, and corroborating each other's testimony. Like the closest version, because none of it seems to be very accurate, is that, okay, here's Hitler's skull, and when they did the genetic testing, it's that of a 35-year-old woman. So they're like, oh, well, this isn't Hitler, but they've said for the past 80 years that this is Hitler. So, okay, first, before we start throwing stones at Russia, let's go back to 1945, April, in Berlin. You have the Allies coming in, wrecking shop, dropping bombs, blowing everything up they can in every single which way. You have the Russians coming in from the opposite direction. They don't even have enough guns to arm all their soldiers. So if they have 200 guys, or 200,000 guys, they have 100,000 guns. If the guy in front of you dies, you just pick up his gun. That's what's happening in April of 1945 in Berlin. So the noose is tightening. There is it is chaos, anarchy, pandemonium. This is hell on earth, is Berlin, 1945. So I don't know if you could get a real story, the way that we do it now, where we have, this forensic experts that come in and document everything, and we look at all the different testimonies, say this is exactly how, it's not CSI. This is 1945 Berlin. It's crazy. So I don't know.
So there was no absolute proof.
No.
And a lot of Nazis did escape and go to South America.
The majority of anyone with power. The Nuremberg trials were not a witch hunt, but it was to close a chapter so we could start moving forward with communism. That's what it was. The threat of fascism, the threat of Hitler, the threat of killing all the Jews, the threat of world domination by the Nazis, that threat's gone. What's the next threat?
Communism.
It's communism.
Right.
So that had to be a closed chapter of our history so we could focus our resources and our efforts to what inevitably was going to, I mean, the wall goes up. We have
Right.
East and West Berlin. You know, we're already looking at Korea. I mean, this happens almost overnight.
Right. Very quickly.
You know, when Patton's like, no, homies, we need to go all the way to Moscow. This is not the end of our war. And we didn't listen to him. We then have been, you know, fighting communism for the past 75 years.
So the ones with power that went to South America, I know a bunch of them went to Argentina, but they think they went to Honduras and a few other places. Where do they think they wound up?
So what you had in South America, both Chile and Argentina back to back had fascist regimes. You had Perón, who was part of the Nazi Party starting all the way back into the mid-30s. He's the president of Argentina. So the Red Cross, they were there was about 3 different rat lines that guys were able to successfully get out of Europe into South America. And there's no question that we're talking thousands, if not tens of thousands of high-ranking Nazis made it there.
Tens of thousands.
Tens of thousands. And I'm not talking like little soldiers. I'm talking high-ranking Nazis, officers, guys like Joseph Mengele and Adolf Eichmann. I mean, these are the most disgusting, despicable humans to exist at the time. If Hitler is dead, Joseph Mengele is the guy that would take syringes full of blue ink and inject them. You have blue eyes, Joe, or you have brown eyes. Let me see if I can make them blue.
Oh, wow.
And then take twins and start torturing them to see if one would feel the pain. That's Joseph Mengele. I mean, that's the guy that then in South America was helping high-ranking Argentinians have abortions, and he set up, have you seen the movie Colonia?
No.
About Colonia Dignidad, which is, if you're listening right now, I almost warn you not to Google it, because it was a torture camp that was started by Joseph Schaefer, a Nazi, and Joseph Mengele, the doctor of death that escaped trial in Nuremberg and made it at the behest of Perón into Argentina. He set up the hospital at Colonia Dignidad, which was another safe haven for more Nazis in South America. Golda Meir and Ben Gurion, the presidents of Israel, they took the gloves off and they were just sending assassins to try to find these people and kill them. But what you got in South America were isolated German-only communities. You could go into Bariloche, Argentina, and I'd be like, "Buenos dias, amigos," and they're like, "Guten Morgen." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I meant good morning. Yeah, sorry, it's 2017, right? I thought we spoke Spanish here."
So, in 2017, you were there, and they were speaking German.
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah.
Well, I don't look very. I might look more European than I do. So it's just them seeing me walking down the street and be like,
"Wow."
Yeah. And there's tons of communities. I mean, if you go to Colonia Dignidad, which is now called Villa Bavaria, the Bavarian village, it is only German.
Whoa.
In the center of Chile, in the mountains of Chile. Like there's no Spanish being spoken there. It is exclusively German.
And these are the descendants of Nazis.
Powerful Nazis.
Holy shit. And this is going on right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what are these communities like? I mean, what's their ideology? Are they...
I mean, they're pretty white.
Yeah, but are they like... I mean, do they espouse Nazi values or...
Not openly. So Colonia Dignidad, if you look at the second generation, there's a bunch of... So it was a huge problem for Chile that they tried to hide for years. And they got so much power from the torturing that they did at Colonia Dignidad on a whole bunch of other high-ranking South American dictators that they are almost untouchable. And this is, I mean, you'd blow your mind if you look into this, Joe. You'd love it. But the second generation, the kids, like the grandkids, sometimes they're even more fanatical than the original generation. Have you ever seen this? Where like if somebody's away from, like when you travel abroad, man, it's so cool to get into the culture and get into the food and get into the, like you're dancing this style and you love the flag and you're like, oh, I'm gonna go to a soccer game because we don't go to soccer games in America, and then I'm gonna go. But then maybe after like 2 months, you kind of miss home, and then like a year, like you really miss home. And then 10 years, like you really, really miss home. And you see the same thing in the United States, where it's not really a perfect assimilation. It's not the melting pot, where you see generations that are espousing to be more like their ethnic heritage than they are American. You know, they're flying the Irish flag and like, I'm Irish. Well, it's just times 1,000 with these communities because they're exclusively German.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Kind of weird.
So exclusively German and really missing home.
Yeah. Yeah. So
70 years later.
the second generations I was talking about, some of them came to the United States and were high-ranking white supremacists that are now in jail, in prison, for their racial crimes.
And they came out of South America.
They came out of Colonia Dignidad. They came out of Bariloche. They came out of
Holy shit.
Cordoba. They came out of Misiones. They came out of,
Wow.
It's crazy. So that's the show, Hunting Hitler.
Fucking A, man.
It's a trip.
How many people are we talking about all told in South America that come out of this? I mean, tens of thousands went there, but how many German communities and how big are they?
Yeah, we maybe have 50 German communities.
50. How many people, if you had to guess?
A few 100,000.
Holy shit. A few 100,000 descendants of Nazis.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And man, it's weird when you walk into somebody's parlor and it's like you're stepping back in time into Europe. Like I'm walking in, it's 2017 and I'm walking in Buenos Aires, Argentina into somebody's parlor and all of the tile is European and all the style and all the art is very German. You know, we have like deers and like not like red stags. We're talking German everything, things that Hitler loved. And that's the style and that's everything. And then they come out and like with white gloves, they're holding their grandfather's memory box. And inside of it are his war medals from, you know, when he was in the SS or when he was, and it is the respect, I don't even know the
reverence.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's like it's like this is a gift from the Pope that they're holding in their hands. White gloves. No, I can't. First of all, Tim can't touch it. But I can appreciate it. And then they tell me the story of every single one of these things and how he got there, and how he then went and worked for the Buenos Aires News.
You can't touch anything.
No, they wouldn't. No, because
You're dirty.
I'm dirty.
Dirty American.
Look at this.
You're too brown.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
So we followed the first 2 seasons. It was really just unraveling the rumors of what happened to Hitler. The third season was my favorite because I actually got to do real work. They said, okay, I got to the second season. I got to bring in more special forces guys, a CIA targeter, Nadia, who helped my unit kill Zarqawi in 2006. This is the team that is now looking at real evidence, trying to figure out, okay, how did we find bin Laden? How did we find Zarqawi? We looked at their associates and we looked at how they moved. We looked at how they communicated. We looked at what routes they were using to get to and from places. And then we just started tightening the noose. And that's exactly what we did in this third season was, okay, let's start following the Adolf Eichmanns. Let's start following the Joseph Mengeles. And let's start following the Skorzynskis. Hitler's personal bodyguard that was a colonel in the SS that went on to work for everybody after the war fighting. I mean, fascists do not like communists. So this guy was working for everybody to include the CIA fighting fascism in South America or fighting communism as a fascist in South America in the 50s, 60s, and 70s.
Whoa.
Creepy stuff.
Whoa.
Yeah. So
Hunting
Hitler.
Are there any legitimate eyewitness accounts of Hitler in South America? Or potentially legitimate?
Absolutely, potentially.
Whoa.
Yep. Eyewitness accounts. I saw him get off a boat. I saw him meet here. And if it was just some person saying it, it's almost meaningless.
Right.
But if you look at the context of who this person is, the wealth that they have that they shouldn't have, like, can you explain how you got so rich in 2 generations? You know, like, okay, your grandpa got here from Germany in 1946. That's weird. And he's on a legitimate visa with an Argentinian passport. also weird. And now he's a war refugee that's now worth millions of dollars. How does this work? But people, and then this is the hard part, people want to be connected to significant events. And especially in small rural areas of the world, developing areas, like there's so little happening. They want to be attached to something massive, and like the fact that they saw a U-boat land on this beach, and the hatch opened, and these cars were sitting there and they were doing Morse code, and this guy gets off and he had this little mustache. You're like, well, but U-boats can't beach. That's not how that works.
Right.
But what they're trying to do. They just want to be connected.
Yeah.
So, and now we're removed 70 to 80 years from the facts. It has been painful to try to use real science, real investigative tools to try to sift through this lore.
What do you think happened? I mean, you've been studying this for how long now?
3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
If you had a guess, if you had like $1 million, you got to put it on one side or another. Did he go there?
Yeah.
Whoa. Jesus Christ.
I would say, man, it's and that's the first time I've ever said it flat out like that. What I want to say is the way history is written is wrong. That's clear. There's no way that we can say he died on this day. This is what happened. Here is his body, and
So
that's what
the physical proof is for sure. The woman that head that they were saying was Hitler is definitely not Hitler.
It was absolutely not. That's a fact.
So they don't have Hitler's body.
So then our other option was, okay, is it Ava Brahms? Did they just grab the wrong body, right? So there are still descendants of Ava, and we tried to have them allow us to do it. Then we tried to go through like, what is it?
And they can get DNA off of the skull?
Yeah.
There's meat on it?
No, it's like a tooth. Yeah.
Okay.
And but they wouldn't consent to it. So then we tried to do, like where people have like the tree, their ethnic tree.
Yeah.
What is those websites called?
23andMe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like a bunch of them.
Right.
And we tried to go that route, but
they wouldn't consent to it.
no.
The Ava Braun's family.
No, they just want it gone.
They just don't want to.
Yeah. They're
Yeah.
super pissed that we even found them,
I'm sure.
which was really hard.
Just hold them down, get them to spit in a bucket.
Yeah. I know.
I mean,
Or pull
we
their
need to
trash
know.
and pull
Yeah.
stuff out of there. No,
We
I
need
would
to
totally
know.
not do that.
Definitely not do that.
But
I mean, that's how they caught the Golden State Killer, right? It was off of a cigarette butt.
yeah.
They got DNA off a cigarette butt.
So history's wrong
Wow.
for it to be black and white like that. And
Fuck, man.
and again, if you go back to 1945, we needed scientists. We needed every single German electrical engineer, mechanical engineer, aerospace, anything.
Yeah.
You're on the V2 program. We want all of you because now it's a race. It's a race. We have the bomb. Now we need delivery systems. Now we need to get to the moon. Now we need to, like all of those things are real time. It's a war of dollars and a war of science. And we got all those scientists.
Yeah.
The Russians didn't.
Well, they got some.
Some, not very many.
Operation Paperclip was what brought over what Werner von Braun, who was, when you talk to Jews that were in Berlin during the time that Werner von Braun was running his rocket program there, he would hang the 5 slowest Jews in front of the rocket factory in Berlin just to give everybody motivation to work harder.
Yeah.
The Simon Wiesenthal Center said that if Werner von Braun was alive today, they would prosecute him for crimes against humanity.
Yeah.
He was a Nazi, straight up Nazi. And there's apologists that say, no, he was a scientist. He was forced into doing that. Like, that's like, okay. He's a Nazi.
Yeah.
There's photographs of him wearing Nazi garb, hanging out with Nazis. His rocket factory killed Jews. Like, these are all undeniable facts.
It's like the war ends and they're not Nazis anymore.
Exactly.
That's not how that works.
Exactly. But they were forgiven because they came over and contributed to our rocket program.
I'm not that good of a human. I don't have that in me. I don't have that like, okay,
It's slippery,
you're forgiven.
man.
Fight companion. Are conspiracies just stories or clues pointing towards something hidden beyond human control?
I want to know how he got I want to know the story of how he got in. Is there a video out there?
Scientology? He's been in Scientology
No, but
forever.
how did he get in? Like, what happened?
That's a good question. I think somebody recruited him from a movie.
He was
set,
good though.
right?
He was
He
in
was already in movies.
He was in
Taps.
Taps.
Yeah.
Taps.
He
Oh
was
my
in Taps.
God!
Yeah.
I want to
Bring
know
up in
how
Taps
that
is really
happened.
good.
I want to know the guy who made that happen.
Dude,
I want to
that
interview
Leah
that
Remini,
guy.
that Leah Remini,
Who
is
got
just
him
going
in?
relentless on Scientology. There's like season 4. I got it.
Leah Remini,
It's bad. I
she
got
did my
it.
podcast. She
I
talked
know.
about it. You know, when I first met her, she was deep in it. She was with Kevin James. She was on King of Queens, and that's when I first met her. And he was like, "She's a Scientologist." I was like, "Whoa."
Yep.
He goes, "She's
weird.
really nice. She's very cool." I'm like,
Man,
"Ooh."
that's just
She's a cutie, too.
A mind control
Real cutie.
experiment. That's all that is.
Yeah.
Well, somebody figured out how to control
It's
people a long time ago.
Until
It's
the
called,
internet came
It's
along.
called come up with a set of rules and say that this is like someone's looking out for this set of rules, whether it's God or it's Buddha
And then the
or
parents
it's
tell the
Odin.
kids.
Create a
Yeah.
mythology.
But
create a
All you have
story.
to do
crazy
is
thing
do
is
that,
that
and people follow it.
The
It's
crazy
weird.
thing is the stuff that
Until they get the internet.
it's nothing but reports of child abuse. It just
There's a
that you
lot of
have
child
kids.
abuse in cults.
It's
Yeah,
horrible.
there's a
Yeah, it's
but
one of
no-
the big
but-
problems with cults.
Yeah.
You know, one of Joey Diaz's ex-girlfriends was in a cult like when she was a kid, and she said that the guy who was the head of the cult molested everybody.
Yeah, of course.
Molested all the girls.
Yeah.
Molested.
He wanted to fuck
fucked
girls.
everybody's wife. Yeah, it's all just
That's who
He
starts
just fucks all
cults.
the girls.
Yeah, well, it's all.
It's
most
what
of these
happens.
cults, that's what happens.
Polygamy.
Yeah, but
blah,
the
you
thing
know.
is, that's not the crazy thing.
David Koresh.
That's not
Yes.
the crazy thing. David Koresh, they shut that motherfucker shit down. We're allowing this to happen. It's like we want it to happen. It's like it's a CIA MK Ultra experiment.
Wait, what do you mean? Wait,
We got to that point in the show, ladies and gentlemen, where I realized
I'm giving him more wine.
Scientology to CIA.
Look at the time.
Eddie.
Hey, give him a
I
little
gotta
more
head
wine.
to the
Papa.
comedy
Tell,
store.
tell us how
Come on, let me
Scientology
feed the
came
beast.
about, Eddie.
Let me feed the beast. I love
know
him.
anything.
Riders
I
on
don't
the
know anything.
storm.
I don't know shit. I don't know anything.
You think like the
But how are
government
they
supports
letting
it,
this?
though?
How? When you look into it,
You gotta look into it.
look into it.
I've been
When you look
looking
into
into
it, hey, think about this. Think about how crazy that religion is.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Which one?
And then think about how it's allowed to survive and thrive.
You're saying like Scientology?
Scientology, even
Yes.
better. I'll do you one better. Scientology doesn't have to pay taxes.
Dude,
they figured out a way how to not pay.
motherfucker.
You know what
is
they
that-
did?
how is
I'll
that-
tell
How's the
you.
government
I'll tell
let-
you. Hold on. I'll tell you. I'll tell you the
Look
actual
into it.
fact.
I'm
No, I'll tell you the
going to.
actual fact. They organized a massive lawsuit campaign against the IRS. And they said that if
they
you can
won.
say that all these different religions, whether it's Catholicism or Mormonism, Mormonism has very questionable backgrounds. Mormonism was started by Joseph Smith, who was a known con man. I mean, Mormonism
Snake oil.
there's like he found it when he was 14. He said he found golden tablets that contained the lost work of Jesus, and only he could read them because he had a magic seer stone. Like when you look at the actual, you're talking about a guy who we know the guy, right? So Scientology was like, well, so fucking what? If you can take that, if you can take Mormonism, like why can't we get tax exempt status? And they said, no, fuck you, you're not a real religion. And they're like, bullshit. If anything is a religion, we're a religion. And in that sense, I support them.
Yep.
I think all religions should have to pay taxes. But I think that if anybody gets a free ride, Scientology should get a free ride too.
100%.
If you're gonna have this goofy loophole in,
Yeah.
then they
They're all
qualify
over
just
the
as
place. I
much
agree with
you. I
as
agree
the
with you 100%.
Mormons
Hey,
or
man,
the
if I was-
Catholics.
If Mormons get a pass,
So that's what happened, Eddie. Is massive lawsuits. It was, and this is all you could find it.
I
It's
saw
all,
the- I
they
saw the
filed-
HBO documentary.
They
I saw
filed a shitload of lawsuits, and the IRS was fucked.
you talking about Going Clear, the doc?
Yes,
It's
Yeah.
it's
so
amazing.
good.
Good book.
It's
Good-
amazing.
good doc.
It's a great book.
Hey.
The book's even better
Great
because
book.
it goes
All that
into the
shit was allowed
history
to
of
happen.
Great book.
It's being allowed
But
to
Eddie,
happen.
everything's allowed to happen. The thing is, no one can pay attention to everything. Everything's allowed to happen all the time. And then once we find out that something's happening, it's like, okay, now what? Like
could-
with
You
No
can't
one
Wicca.
shut it down
Scientology,
anyway. You
though.
can't shut down a religion.
Well, you can't shut down anybody's freedom of
Right.
speech. If you have an
Expression.
ideology, your freedom of expression, your ability to gather and talk,
Which
makes
is good.
it-
Yeah, but if you
makes
look
us-
at
Hey, I don't know
Scientology.
shit. All I know is if I had a country to run, I would start. If I was running a country, I would start cults and have mind control experiments.
I would too, but I wouldn't have
would.
time in between negotiating oil deals and trying to figure out whether or not we should stay
NATO?
in,
I would
in
make time.
NATO
I
and
would make
Paris
Climate
climate
control.
control. I know what you're saying. In a way,
I
you're
would
right.
in my
In a
my
way, you're
world,
right, but no one has the time to do everything.
There's not enough
to
time.
micromanage the entire world.
They're too busy.
That's right.
It's just there's
There's not
only
enough
so
time.
much shit. You can let
Hey,
people
listen,
take care of themselves.
People got lives. I get it.
You could let
They got
people take
ki-
care of
they
themselves.
Got, hey, Illuminati got kids.
They got keys. Illuminati
I
got
get it.
keys.
It's not enough time for mind control experiments. There's too much shit going on.
Well, they definitely have done some mind control experiments too. That's
No,
what
I'm just
also
saying
part of the
if I
problem
ran
is.
a country, I'm saying if I
Eddie, why
ran
you
a
bringing
country
up
in this
Wait,
other
I have a
dimension.
question for Eddie.
If
I'm
I
not
ran a
saying they're
country
doing
the
it.
way
I'm saying if I
a
did
comic
it,
book guy writes
Shit.
comic books, I would definitely do
Hold
that.
on.
on.
Kidding?
Hold
I'm
on.
going, this
I
is
got a
what we're
question for
going
Eddie.
to do. This is
Eddie.
what you're going to start a religion. You're going to start a religion. You're going to start a religion.
Oh, that's-
and just you're going
Eddie.
to bullshit them this way, and we're going to just
Who's
watch
this
them.
mastermind? And where,
Eddie,
what's his cut?
who is? I want to know from you, and you better tell me.
My country
I
would
wanna know.
survive at
Hold
least
on.
500
Hold on.
years.
Hold on.
You
Eddie.
know it.
Hold on.
You know it.
Eddie, I
ahead.
have a question.
Brian,
you better
what's the
tell me
question?
this because I know you know the fucking answer, bro.
Am I, as a dictator?
Hold on.
Brother, I want you to
As
answer.
a-
No,
as a
I think you
tyrannical
got your. I
dictator?
got, you think
Who
you're
got-
finger on the pulse. I want to know right now on this podcast who's running this country.
I have no idea.
Come on, bro.
I don't know.
Give me a little idea because I know you
don't
got
know.
a fucking
I
idea.
don't know.
Bro.
I don't
You're
know.
you're playing dumb right now.
I'm
Can
going
I
to
ask?
guess. I'm going
Go
to
ahead.
guess.
Go ahead.
Satan.
Based on nothing but circumstantial evidence. I'm going to
Oprah.
I'm going to guess.
Hold on.
The
Educate
people
guess.
that control the banks. That's I don't know.
Who would they be?
Rothschilds? I don't know. That's
We-
what
we
I hear.
did,
I could be wrong.
hold on a
That could
second.
be Rothschilds. Could be a complete
No, it's not.
fabrication.
That's
We
an
looked- I
old-
don't
We
know.
looked up on the internet
I
the
don't
other
know.
day, and the Rothschilds, like the family. Here's what's hilarious:
internet?
it's 1 billion to like 70 trillion, 700 trillion.
700
What?
billion, yeah.
700
What is it?
billion or
Yeah,
trillion?
it was billion.
What- what's
700
what's
billion.
this number? What
Like,
is it?
The amount of money they own, it's either
Is it-
1
are they
billion
real? The
or
Rothschilds real?
Oh, 100%.
That's real.
Oh, 100%.
There's a family that owns all the banks.
No, there is a family that has a considerable amount of money they pass down from generation to generation, and these
And they run
younger
the central
generations
banks.
How
have
much is
figured
it?
out
That's
how
the
to not
conspiracy
fuck it
theory
up.
that they run the
how much
central
is it,
banks.
Joe?
They
Is that's not
definitely-
real?
We
How
don't
much
know.
is it?
We don't know.
I
They
don't know
say,
if it is. That's what they say, but
Okay,
that
hold
could
on.
be lying.
They say between 1 billion and 700 billion.
Snope says 500 trillion.
But do they even exist?
No.
Do,
It says
do the
false.
Rothschilds even exist? That could be a conspiracy.
Can I
theory
say
right there.
one thing?
The
Okay.
Rothschilds are a hoax.
Hey,
they
Eddie,
don't exist.
one thing
Hold on.
about the Rothschilds, when you talk about the Rothschilds and these different big families, there's one thing in common.
It's a hoax.
Nope, follow me on this.
They're white.
If you hear, nope, they're all Jewish. And by the way,
That's a hoax.
if you look at their roots, if you look at the roots of these,
Oh,
a
you
lot of
say
these,
Jews
a
are
lot of
good
these
with money
rumors,
now?
a lot of these rumors and conspiracies, they start in the
Freemason.
neo-Nazi camps and the ultra right-wing camps, and a lot of the anti-Semitic,
that a
Are you
conspiracy?
giving me a history
No,
lesson
it's
based?
not.
That's a conspiracy.
That
Are you
goes
giving me a
way
history
back.
lesson?
That goes way back into Europe. That goes way back with the Nazis. So just be careful where these things come from. You'll find that
I
their
don't know.
roots.
Hey,
no,
listen,
I know.
I don't
know
know
you don't.
shit.
But their roots a lot of times.
I'm on YouTube.
Yeah, their roots sometimes start in really
I don't
awful
read
places.
books.
So
You should read a book every now and then.
Hey, listen.
I got some
don't
books
know.
for you.
I don't
Lawrence
know.
Wright, the guy
I don't
he's
know.
had
I don't
Going
know what
Clear
to
and The Looming
believe.
Tower, two
I don't
very
know what
good
to
books.
believe. I don't know.
The Plant Paradox, which I'm reading now about food, very interesting.
Unless it benefits me to believe something, unless I make money from it.
Yeah.
Like if you say, dude,
You
you're a
don't waste
fucking
time.
idiot. You're a fucking idiot. You know, like what if I believe this? Dude, you could be fucking, your kids could be, go to college for
You want
free if you
measurable
just believe
results.
this and just, if you just sign off and say you believe it. I'm like, that's not what's going to happen. Is it illegal if I don't believe it? Will I get thrown in jail? No, then I don't want to. I don't want to believe shit. If it doesn't hurt me, it shouldn't be such a big deal. That's I don't know what to believe, man. I don't know if the Rothschilds are real. I don't know if reptilians are real. I don't know if
Reptile.
Satanism is real. I don't know shit.
One thing I'd say is getting closer to the truth can be achieved by looking at all the independent lines of inquiry, all the independent lines
Are you
that
sitting
come
here
to
trying
one
to tell
consensus.
me how to come to the truth,
Yeah, that's what
Brian
he's doing.
Callen?
Yeah, yeah,
Is
I'm
that what
saying-
you're trying to tell me exactly how to come to
Well,
the
no,
truth?
no, I'm just saying generally. I'm
Is that
speaking
what
in
I'm hearing?
general because I would never tell you to get close to
Okay,
truth.
okay.
Brother, come on, man.
Well,
I'm
think,
talking in
but
general.
let me say this because I think this is really important. One of the problems that I've had, me personally, I've had with any idea is that once I have an original idea or once I start looking at something a certain way, I become married to it.
Yes.
And I've had real problems with that in the
All
past.
of us have. It's confirmation bias.
I
We do it.
understand, but I'm just saying I've had real problems with that. Like personally, where I had to look at like what I believed and go, well, why do I believe that,
Mm-hmm.
and why do I think? And there's been a bunch of times, whether it's through Bigfoot or UFOs or, I mean, I've looked at the JFK assassination 100 different fucking times. You know, there's been times when I said, well, maybe Oswald got lucky. I mean, like people do get lucky. Like I've shot the first animal I ever shot. I shot at 200 yards, and I probably shouldn't have hit it, and it dropped. I could have fucked that up. You know, you can, if you're aiming at something, pull the trigger and hit the president in the back of the head. It is possible. I don't think it did. It seems to me more like some other shit was going on if you look at all the different pieces of evidence.
Our Navy
but I
SEAL
don't
friends beg
fucking
to
know,
differ.
man. And the problem with saying this happened and that happened, which I used to do all the time, is that you don't fucking know. You don't know. You don't know.
But
until you do know,
Yeah.
when you say you know and you might be wrong, it becomes an ego thing.
So you can speculate?
Yes. You can get closer to the truth. You can
Sure.
approximate. So if you hear scientists, they always say, it's so fascinating. Scientists start always with doubt. And what they do is they always say, if you really corner science, they'll say, well, this is the most likely. Based on the data I've looked at or the literature I've read carefully, this is the most likely possibility.
Right.
It's really interesting to hear how they talk that way
Right.
because, like with global warming or anything,
Have you heard Krauss?
Yes,
Lawrence
Lawrence
Krauss?
Krauss. Yeah, listen, I've had him on my podcast. I listened to you, both the podcast you had with him, and tried to read some of his book. It was tough, but yes, I
His
love
book
him.
is rough, dude.
Yeah.
When he started,
just have to have a background.
Gauge symmetry. When he was going into gauge symmetry, and I fucked up by opening up my podcast, asking him to explain gauge symmetry.
I know.
It's insane,
You
man.
know what
it's,
I got
it's
from that?
theoretical physics.
Yeah, this is what I got
puts
from
a
that.
hole in your head.
I got that there's a web, there's an invisible web, and when we come into contact with it, we become mass.
But
That's
we
what
have
I
to
got,
understand,
man.
as skeptical as we are of this shit, these are the same motherfuckers that put together the Large Hadron Collider.
Yes.
They are spinning atoms just slightly under the speed of light, slamming them into each other, and recreating the very instances right after the Big Bang.
Jesus.
And they're doing that shit right now.
crazy.
There's a team of scientists
how many scientists?
from 100
Like 30,
different countries.
yeah,
thousands.
Thousands.
You guys-
I feel like
you guys,
find out how many there is.
35.
You guys
500.
all agree that Nikola Tesla was a great scientist?
Oh, he was a
would imagine.
genius.
For sure, right?
He was a genius, but you got to remember
I'm a
that
fan.
Nikola Tesla lived in a world where he was so far ahead of the curve, and there's very few people that were able to compete with him or even understand what he was doing.
Do you know that if you go to YouTube and you punch in Nikola Tesla hoax fraud, nothing comes up?
That's amazing.
No,
Makes
nothing.
sense.
Yeah,
but
not-
that's also
nothing.
a guy who lived
There's
in the
not anybody
1920s.
on the planet
dispute.
trying to say, "Oh, that shit was bullshit." There's no. You go to YouTube, punch in Nikola Tesla hoax fraud. Not one fucking video. There's videos that come up that's saying. Something else was a hoax. Nikola Tesla proves it, or Nikola Tesla proves hoax, but not one video of anybody ever saying Nikola Tesla was a hoax.
I feel like a guy like that.
But this is just a fact. You can take it or leave it. Put in Albert Einstein hoax fraud. Endless videos. It's
Oh,
fucking
Albert was a freak.
endless
it doesn't-
videos. They're like, wait a minute. Wasn't Albert Einstein Time Magazine's man of the century?
Okay, but let me
How is
stop.
that even
Let me
possible?
stop. Okay,
I thought
Eddie,
he was
you're
the
getting
smartest
very,
man in
hold
the
on
world.
a second. Let me just help you here.
That's
you're
just-
getting very dramatic. So let me stop for a second. If
I'm
you
just-
put in,
I'm being,
if you put in
funny.
Holocaust hoax, you'll get an equal number.
I'm not talking about that.
But you
I'm
know
talking
that's
about,
true. If you put in Sandy Hook hoax, you're getting an equal number. You
Yeah,
get a tremendous number of people that think that
But
a
not
lot
Nikola
of very
Tesla.
You're
Not
right.
Nikola
You're right.
Tesla.
It's amazing.
Why-
Well, also,
why not him?
How about people that don't think that Richard Pryor was a genius? Who
Is
the
there
fuck?
a-
Have
does
you
it
ever
say
met a
Richard
comic?
Pryor
Have you
hoax?
ever met a comic once that doesn't think Richard Pryor is one of the greatest of all time? They don't exist.
But are there videos of people trying to prove that he wasn't the greatest?
No, but I mean, look,
No.
I
that
believe
he was a hoax.
that,
No,
you
there's
know,
nothing on Nikola Tesla.
I don't think that Einstein was a
Nothing.
hoax, dude. I mean,
Correlation
Einstein,
is not the
You know
same as
what?
causation, though, Eddie. You know?
Shit. I don't know nothing. All I know is there's nothing on Nikola Tesla.
yeah,
no
but it doesn't
hoax
mean
in it,
anything.
But there's thousands of you look
Okay.
into his life, like, oh,
But is there
shit.
anyone besides
You look
Nikola
into him,
Tesla that
oh,
doesn't have
shit.
that? Is he the only guy, Eddie?
Well, Thomas Edison
Look
was
into
always
it. Just-
Thomas Edison was always accused of stealing the ideas of Nikola Tesla. In fact, Thomas Edison electrocuted an elephant in the middle of what was it, the World Science
Thomas
Fair?
Edison did?
Yes,
I
he
think Thomas.
did.
Oh, Thomas Edison. I thought you said
Yes.
Thomas Jefferson.
No,
Sorry,
Thomas Edison
yes.
electrocuted a fucking elephant.
There's video of it.
because he wanted to prove that
Not-
alternating and direct current, like AC/DC,
How fucked
which
up
was
is
Tesla's
that?
idea.
There's video of an elephant
alternating
being
current.
electrocuted, not
Yeah.
by Thomas
How
Edison.
fucked
but-
up
No,
is
but
that?
Tesla
Thomas Edison did it. The reason why he did it is to prove or to try to it was propaganda against Tesla's ideas, which are more advanced.
And there's
he
an
wanted
open form,
a
right?
movable, he wanted there to be alternating currents, and
Tesla
Edison was a direct
and
current guy.
Einstein were alive and kicking at the same time. Tesla, There's quotes. The quotes could be bullshit.
Well,
but there's
Tesla
quotes of the
comes from
Teslas
several decades
crushing
before
Einstein,
Einstein, though.
clowning him in
Wasn't he?
public. He thought Einstein was a
I didn't hear
fraud.
what he said.
That could be that
Well,
could be
I've heard that-
bullshit. But there are quotes that can be bullshit of Tesla. They keep popping up.
Eddie, but I
Tesla
think-
breaking.
Eddie,
No. Hold on.
yeah.
Hold on. There's quotes.
Yeah.
Tesla quotes saying the theory of relativity is basically a joke. There's Tesla
No, but
quotes of
Eddie,
that.
hold on.
No. What I'm saying is it could be bullshit, but it keeps coming up.
Well, no. We know that the theory of relativity is used, right? So that we know that that's not so much a theory anymore. But here's what I think that he's addressing. So Einstein, from what I have read, is Einstein was a great mind, but he was coming up at a time where he got most of the credit. He became a famous scientist when there were a lot of scientists working on very similar ideas.
He was an average scientist who got blown up.
And contributing to the larger debate about quantum physics, right? So
You know,
going
there was
beyond
also a
Newtonian
big
physics.
debate about their methods, whereas Tesla was a big fan of experiments. Einstein was a big fan of equations, and one of the big criticisms.
One of the big quotes.
What does it
he goes,
say? What are you pulling
scientists
up?
of today.
What is this? Tesla's overrated, debunking
Oh,
the
this
cult of
dude.
Tesla. Tesla's a popular figure in conspiracy culture. What is it saying? What is he saying?
He says Tesla
It's
is
not
a-
even
is-
just a
is not
conspiracy
real.
thing. What is he saying?
He's saying
Tesla's
Tesla's
a
not real.
genius?
He said right here, he says Tesla was a popular figure today, but he's also a self-publicist, and this is the stuff he didn't invent.
He did not invent alternating current.
Yeah.
He just was one of many people working on it. Okay, but he's probably one of the forefront minds, right? Being a showman, helped popularize its use. He's so good at that. Eventually, had to. I don't know if he's right or not.
Dude, he's
The problem
shitting
is-
on Tesla.
I just
This
mean
is the
there's
only
no
guy
one.
ever.
Eddie said there's no one
This-
saying anything against him, but there is.
But Mick
Developed
West is
free
always
energy.
against. He's
he-
100% official story. He's not against. He doesn't believe in that one conspiracy.
No,
theory.
you're right, 100%, and that's one of the only criticism I had about that guy. Like when we talked about the Gulf of Tonkin, he doesn't want to even admit that
Yeah,
the Gulf of
and
Tonkin
Tower
was a
7,
false
he
flag.
can't. Tower 7's obvious.
Also, Operation Northwoods, he was trying to downplay. I'm like, look, man, whether or not you know what happened in any other place, like you know, the Joint Chiefs of Staff wrote down a memo saying that what the plan was to have Guantanamo Bay attacked by Cuban friendlies that were going to give them guns, give them bombs, have them attack American
What did he
civilians.
say? He's
He
always
was like,
got
well, it
something.
never was like implemented. I was like, it doesn't matter. They signed it. Kennedy had a veto. Yes, but Kennedy vetoed it. That's why those checks and balances are in place. Like, no. The mindset behind the type of person that would want to blow up Americans and blame it on the Cubans so we could justify
The founding
a war
fathers
with
knew
Cuba.
that, though. The founding fathers
Yes.
knew that there would always be people within the
You're
government
right.
that
You're
would do
right.
anything they could, and so that's where the checks and balances,
Right,
of course,
but they
and everything
don't
else.
always go through perfectly.
Yeah.
That's, I mean,
Yeah.
if Nixon was Reagan, or I mean, if Kennedy was Reagan or Kennedy was Nixon, he might very well have let that slide. Who knows? I mean, a different person in a different circumstance with a different view of the world could have let the Joint
Yeah.
Chiefs of Staff pull that through. So that shows you the mindset.
Right.
So the mindset's undeniable that
Yes.
people absolutely do conspire. So when you're a guy who never believes in conspiracies, you do just as much damage as a guy who always believes in
Well,
conspiracies.
so Alexander Hamilton said that it's not just a king you have to worry about; it's your actual government that's been elected. So just because your parliament, he was using parliament as an example, just because parliament was voted in doesn't mean that small group of people will not get power hungry and drunk. So therefore, you've got to have all these checks and balances. You've got to have courts. You've got all kinds of things, and you have to have a Senate and a House of Representatives. This is where these ideas came from. That's what the genius of those fucking.
Why are people drawn to hidden conspiracies? And what if some of them point toward something bigger than we imagine?
So just to calm Alex down, nobody's telling me what to say. No one's telling me what to do. I'm not involved in the New World Order.
Who's the New World
Just
Order?
a comedian.
Enlighten me about the New World Order.
I'm not sure. I'm
Would
not
you
involved,
please?
though. I just want Alex to know I'm not involved.
Who are those people you eating dinner with the other night? Were you in the New World Order?
Who's the dinner people?
The people you say you were eating with smart people. Who are
Oh,
those
they're
people?
just... These are all podcasters and former professors and all these different people that are doing different things together.
You scared me the other day, though. You had Eddie on the ropes, right? He was thinking you went back with the CIA.
What? What?
Yeah, you got people
Eddie?
on the ropes, sure.
What are you talking about?
He's nothing with the CIA. Who knows?
What?
Nothing. Okay.
the
Don't worry
fuck
about
are you
nothing.
saying?
Don't worry about nothing. Eat a cheap at you. It's the 4th of July. What do you give a fuck? No
Yeah,
fireworks
like-
in fucking CBS Radford.
I think I think conspiracies are fun, and that's part of the problem with conspiracies. They're fun. They're fun to chase down. They really are. They're interesting.
I'll tell you what's fun to chase down, to read about one and to absorb it by yourself.
Yeah.
Once I get into a room with 3 men and we're on a conspiracy for 48 minutes, that's when I get aggravated.
Well,
that's what I don't ever want to talk about. That's what the shit that kills me. I don't have the time to discuss whether the moon landing or not. We all have an idea what we think happened. Guess what? I really don't want to talk about it. Not on the fucking 4th of July.
Yeah, no. The problem with them is, and this is a tendency, is that when people get really into conspiracy theories, they're into everything being a conspiracy. It's not like they're into conspiracy theories and also into the history of Cuba. They can give you a detailed history of some really crazy shit that went down. Like, how many people that are really into conspiracy theories could give you a rundown on how Castro took over Cuba, which is like a real thing that happened in, you know, our parents' lifetimes, right? Think about that. How many people that are into, like, you know, whether or not there's bases on the moon know about, you know, all these different things that have happened through human history? The Mongols, the Roman Empire, the Greek Empire. There was crazy shit that definitely really happened. All the stuff that happened during the Vietnam War, all the stuff that happened during the Nixon administration, all that stuff's real. It's fascinating. Fascinating shit to look into. But then you get to dumb ones like, oh, God, are we really discussing whether or not the Earth is flat? Is this a real conversation? Like, people are really doing that? Satellites aren't real?
Go on social media. Don't get losing their goddamn mind.
You'll find a bunch of people that'll agree with you, too. You got to be so careful about not listening to scientists.
I'm going to tell you what else I saw on Sunday night. Sunday night on the 50 years of 60 Minutes, they was showing how they interviewed different people and how the one guy went to Saddam Hussein, and he said to him, ask him to tell him that this guy said he's crazy. And the interpreter looked at him and says, you think, sorry, I ain't asking him that. And there was one particular interview. He was just talking about the interviewer. He goes, one of the best interviews he ever did was when he pushed the guy, the guy that was standing behind Kennedy in the car, the agent that should have taken the bullet for Kennedy. They interviewed that guy. You got to hunt that one down. That he was one step behind. I mean, he breaks down into tears. He's a real American. Like, this is a guy that's a real American. Took that job, and they're like, it wasn't your fault. And he's like, you don't understand. I was a second behind. If I would have been there just 1 second early, I would have caught it in my back, and the president would have been alive. I mean, it's fucking crazy.
Jesus. Can you imagine being dedicated to protect a guy with your own life?
And to really drink the serum and to believe it like a fucking soldier.
Yeah, those are very special human beings that can do that. It's not a lot of human beings that have that kind of resolve. Will throw their life in front of a bullet to protect someone else's. That's intense. That is intense.
And you have to hear where the bullet is coming from, what your response time has to be. This is when you're a real high-level bodyguard. You are the highest of the highest. Your hearing is impeccable. This means when you're walking down the street with this guy inside, you have to learn by yourself how to shut off nature and noises and listen to footsteps, weapons clicking, holsters opening. Think of how interesting just that alone is. That's why sometimes when you see them, they're holding one ear. Because they're zeroing in on anything particular. A car's tires screeching differently. Think of that fucking job, because that's what their job is. To react to that. So if Joe Rogan has 8 guys, when they train, and I don't even know, I've never trained in Quantico, but I just know that I guarantee the first 2 guys, the first 4 guys are lead guys. They have a mission. One guy gets to the door. If there's a shooting, the other guy two guys duck for the president. There's got to be plans. Like it's like formations in football.
Jesus.
What if the linebacker goes this way, you run around me? This doesn't take a fucking genius to tell you there has to be formations to protect the president or whoever it is you're protecting in that level.
What if the Epstein files revealed names that were never meant to be seen?
Who knows what fucking happens with all this Epstein file shit? It just keeps getting crazier and crazier and crazier and deeper. And so Ro Khanna and Massey just released the names of these guys that had been redacted from the list. And one of them is what is his last name?
Les
Wexner, right? Who's the CEO of Victoria's Secrets. Is he the CEO or the owner?
Former CEO, but
both. Former owner, CEO of Victoria's Secrets. He's being named as a co-conspirator now. Yes. Yeah, so he's being named along with Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. Because he runs this modeling, Victoria's Secrets, hot girls, the whole deal. Somehow or another, he's involved in this, and they had redacted his name up until now, right?
Pretty sure. Yeah. Well, two things. I don't think anybody. His existence as a co-conspirator isn't new information.
But it's confirmed now, right?
It was people I think are up in arms is that it wasn't supposed to be blocked out from the files.
Exactly.
He's not a victim.
Right. He's not a victim, so why was his name redacted?
Right.
And so they got it unredacted, and now he's being named.
But I think he's the funder of most of it is what it seems
What?
like.
Right.
Well, he
so
was in
people
charge of
knew
all
that
this.
there was something going on, but he had gifted Jeffrey Epstein this insane house in Manhattan. So this is like a $60 million house in Manhattan. You know the house where you go into it and you see Bill Clinton in a dress?
Yeah.
You know that picture that we have out in the lobby?
Yeah.
That's from the foyer of his house.
Right.
That Jeffrey Epstein was gifted by Les Wexner. By the way, Whitney Webb posted on her Twitter about Les Wexner being a sex trafficker, a child sex trafficker in 2020. See if you can find that. Like that crazy chick is right about everything.
The one lady who was kidnapped, or she was claimed she was kidnapped, was in his house in New Albany, where Columbus. Like she claimed she was being held there for, I don't know, 2 weeks or something, like doing art. She called her dad to try to get out of there or something like that.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, and that's like his involvement isn't like brand new information.
This was in Columbus, Ohio?
Well, New Albany is where that's where his house is. The biggest house in Ohio, I think. It's a suburb of Columbus. It'd be like Westlake to Austin.
Right.
People think he's still there. That's where Epstein's living, but that's not accurate.
Well, the people that think he's alive, I think they think he's in Israel, don't they?
There's some definitely. I think they're AI photos. They might not be.
Oh, I saw that.
But
yeah.
That people think he's been seen or spotted around town.
Wouldn't you think he'd get some surgery?
You would think that he would have to.
Yeah.
Like he's probably one of the most recognizable faces in
Yeah.
the world at this point.
Yeah.
Like after so much airtime.
You'd have to get some
Yeah.
surgery if you wanted to still. I mean, how would you keep that? This is the tweet. Your reminder that Leslie Wexner financed the mass rape and trafficking of thousands of American children for over a decade, and right now he is sitting in a 26K square foot mansion in New Albany, Ohio, thinking that he is above the law. She tweeted this in April 28 of 2020. How crazy is that?
Holy shit.
She's like the most prolific of all the conspiracy theorists, the most well-read, the one with the most recall, the one that's the most quoted. I don't know how she's so good at it. We're trying to get her on. I don't know how she's so good and what her background is, how she finds all this information, but she's always way ahead of all this stuff.
Yeah, I mean 2020.
That's crazy.
That's fucking way ahead of everybody.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Bro. But these files, just what's come out so far, and the fact that they redacted men, these like powerful billionaire guys, their names were redacted. Like there's one of them where he's talking about pandemic planning.
What?
Where Jeffrey Epstein is talking about pandemic planning to someone named Bill, whose name is redacted. It's like, why are you redacting the guy's name that you're talking about planning for a pandemic, like what to do in response to a pandemic? Well, why is his name retracted?
So
or redacted, rather.
When are they supposed to testify? When are the Clintons supposed to testify? Would you say they're gonna 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think it's the last 2 days.
Did you say the aliens are coming in the next 2 weeks?
I think
they're gonna land.
I think that's
Something's gonna
ramp
happen.
up just before that testifying.
Yeah,
goes down.
it'll be we bomb Iran, aliens show up, maybe at the same time. Yeah. Fuck, man.
Outside of this, because this, I mean, obviously this conspiracy, it's not a theory anymore, right? Because they're connecting the networks, they're like exposing a lot of this. Like when you look at your total conspiracy catalog of things that you like to dive into, outside of aliens, because everybody knows that. What are your other ones that you like?
Well, aliens is the most fun one.
Yeah.
This is the one that I hate the most.
Yeah.
Because this one scares the shit out of me. Because the fear of, we talked about this yesterday with Roger Avery. The fear of these like literally demonic human beings that are running the world and don't give a fuck about human lives and enjoy watching people being tortured, enjoy watching people killed, participating in ritual sacrifice of people, and they do it in order to show that you're a part of a team and we know that has always historically been a real thing, and it's been something that you look at in history, you go, God, it's so sick, it's so twisted, it's so disgusting, and everybody wants to think, thank God that's not happening now. But then when you realize, like, that might have been happening now. Here's one of the craziest ones. The day he was indicted in 2018, the very next day he ordered 330 gallons of sulfuric acid.
What?
Yes. He ordered 6 55-gallon drums of sulfuric acid to be delivered to the island. And so there's a lot of people online saying, oh, that was probably for his desalination plant. It's probably like a regular thing they need to order. So then someone else did a deep dive and said, no, this is the first time this was ever ordered.
I checked that again. I saw there was 2 other ones.
Oh, there was 2 other orders?
2017 and 2015.
Oh, so that guy was
could have been
wrong.
the first one from that company, potentially.
Ah, that makes sense. So maybe it was for this desalination equipment.
Yeah,
but also, that's a lot of sulfuric acid. If I needed 5 gallons for my desalination equipment, but 239 gallons or whatever it is to burn kids. Yeah. To fucking get rid of bodies.
Well, it's kind of hard to think of any other use for acid, just in general. Right?
Immediately,
so
you think.
Immediately.
Yeah. The other orders, were they that large?
Let me check.
Because here's the other thing. I mean, how long has it been killing people? How long have they been boiling bodies to get rid of them? I mean, if you do have, for lack of better words, let's call it a service, where you allow rich people from foreign governments or whatever, you set it up. I can give you whatever you want.
Right.
Like, what I want to do is I want to kill a hooker. Like, I want to kill her, I want to torture her, and I want to, get rid of the body. Like, I want to do that. Like, can you do that? There was one where this one guy is saying to him, thank you for the torture video. It's literally a part of an email. The actual quote, thank you for the torture video. Like, enjoyed the torture video.
It's so gross.
And they think they've identified that guy. And what do they think? He's a sultan?
I was trying to find that right now. I think because Massey said he got the... he looked that one up, I believe. Because it's weird. They're letting them into the files one by one for like an hour at a time.
What?
Yeah, bro.
Like the Congress people can go look at specific. There's millions of files. You got to tell them which file you want specifically to look at.
It's crazy. The whole thing is crazy because, like, why have you protected people? So we know Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem sent the torture video to Epstein. This is in 2009. So Epstein was saying that. Where are you? Are you okay? I love the torture video.
Jeez.
I am in China. I'll be in the U.S. second week of May. What the fuck, man? And why is his name redacted? Why would your name be redacted if you're not a victim? Like, this is what's crazy about all this. Like, how come you redact some people and you don't redact other people? Like, what is this? This is not good. None of this is good for this administration. It looks fucking terrible. It looks terrible. It looks terrible for Trump when he was saying that none of this was real. This is all a hoax. This is not a hoax. Like, did you not know? Maybe he didn't know, if you want to be charitable. But this is definitely not a hoax. And if you've got redacted people's names and these people aren't victims, you're not protecting the victim. So what are you doing?
Right.
And how come all this shit is not released? Like,
you would think that all of it would just,
yeah,
like, get rid of all of it. Just expel it all.
It's crazy. So this is the conspiracy that drives me the most crazy, because I don't like it.
Julian Dory talk about this yesterday on his podcast. I just saw a clip going around. American billionaire Tom Pritzker had an email to him that says,
You mean Julian Dorsey?
Dorsey, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm in a remote valley of Afghanistan. It's my birthday wish with boys with toys. Spent time with Petraeus yesterday, and he loaned me a chopper, actually 2, with 1 as a backup. Can't call till tomorrow. Yeah, but boys with toys could mean like military guys with weapons.
That's what I assumed. That's not what the video. They thought they were talking about little boys because they were in Afghanistan. But
boys
the
with
birthday wish is an interesting part.
It's my birthday wish to
In a remote valley.
In a remote valley in
and
Afghanistan.
he's telling Epstein about it.
But it also loaned me a chopper.
Well, actually, this is to Epstein. So.
Right. But the thing is, like, the loan me a chopper, my birthday wish, his birthday wish might have been to, like, gun down villagers.
I know. That's what I thought they were talking about, not go play with little kids.
Yeah.
I thought he just want to go kill people and they let him do it.
I mean, I bet that. Look, he loaned me a chopper. Doesn't sound like I came there to fuck kids. It's like my birthday wish sounds like I'm here to fuck people up.
Right.
Like,
or I'm just out here to tour Afghanistan, which, I mean, I don't know why anybody would want to tour Afghanistan, but it seems like...
The only reason why I would be interested in going to Afghanistan is the stuff that Jason Everman told me about. Like when he showed me all those ancient Greek ruins. If you were a person who was a wealthy person that your desire was to go gun people down, like there are people that will provide you with that service. Like there was a thing with the Soviets, or not the Soviets, with the Russians, where they're allowing people to kill pirates.
Yeah.
Like you would pay a bunch of money and they'd take you to where the pirates are, and you go out in a ship and with a 50 cal just fucking blow up pirate boats.
Yeah, I'd heard about that. I'd heard about there were places that you could go as, you know, a combat tourist, basically.
Has to be.
Yeah.
There has to be places.
It's all going to be like Russian or Somalian or a connection between the two, right? So you'd have these like rogue elements and places where there isn't an organized government. There's essentially just chaos and anarchy.
Which is Afghanistan.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
you could definitely...
Someone from the western side was providing that service to someone and letting them borrow a chopper.
Well, that was Petraeus. So they were saying like Petraeus was the commanding general at the time, which I would find it's kind of hard to believe.
Hard to believe.
Yeah, that a general that's in charge of combat operations in Afghanistan would loan just a rich guy a helicopter. And it sounds correct in the context of plus another one, because they could never fly anywhere alone. They always had to fly in twos because they had to have a support.
But just loan me a chopper.
Loan me a chopper.
What?
It's a stretch, as much as I disagree with the way that they were running the war. It'd be hard for me to believe that a general just loaned some rich guy a couple of helicopters to fly around Afghanistan.
Like, you think he's lying?
I don't know. Like you'd have to dive into it and figure it out.
Yeah. But either way, there's nothing normal about these emails.
No.
There's nothing normal.
Nothing normal.
One thing to take into consideration is how much of these emails are actually factual. Like accusations that they're putting on other people. You got to take that with a grain of salt. This guy he was all about like influence peddling. Like, and probably he had enemies, and he would destroy his enemies with rumors and making up false stories. Like the Bill Gates one with asking me for antibiotics to slip into his wife because he got STD from a Russian hooker. I'm like, that seems too too on the head. You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't he go to his fucking personal doctor? Why is he going to Jeffrey Epstein for antibiotics in New York when he lives in Seattle? Don't you think he has like a concierge medicine set up
You would
there
think.
with a guy? And,
Yeah.
and why would he say, "Hey, Melinda, I gave her STDs"? You wouldn't. You'd say, "Hey, get me some stuff. Oh, I lost my prescription. Can you give me another one?
Yeah.
I fell out of my car. Give me another one."
Can I give another one?
And then fucking crushing up in a smoothie. Like, if you're going to do that, you would do it. He's not a dummy. He's Bill Gates, right? You would do it in a more discreet way than contact a international sex trafficker who's a part of like some intelligence operation.
You would think.
You would think.
Right. I mean, but the skeptic in me tends to kind of like look at it under a magnifying glass a little bit.
Yeah, I don't want to take everything at face value, but also at the accumulation of all of these different things leads you to just go, what the fuck was...
What if governments aren't run by presidents, but by systems no one voted for?
You know, you have to think about all these things. But, I mean, I do think since Trump got elected, conspiracy theorists have been demonized. And nobody talks about that.
Right. There's a little bit. Well, it was always going on.
It was
even before that they were being demonized. But yeah, for sure.
Everybody's worried about the other groups, which is fair.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
There's the people in the cages, no good. I'm not for any of that.
People in the cage?
Well, the kids in the cages is not good.
What do you mean?
The family separation
at
the border. All that.
Of course,
There's real stuff.
Yeah.
But I think that people think that conspiracy theories got Trump elected. So now it's like cool to hate conspiracy theorists. Or people that are like, let's take another look at this.
There's so many factors that got Trump elected.
Right.
I mean, it's a perfect storm of people getting fed up with political correctness.
Yeah.
Someone coming along that's not a politician.
Yeah.
You know, the system is so rigged that after a while, you're just like, Jesus Christ, how many more of these fake puppets are we going to put in office?
I say this to comics. I'm like, everybody's done a show where everybody goes out and bombs with their material. And then one guy gets up and just goes, fuck this, and screams and yells and destroys.
Yeah.
Because that's what the room wanted the whole night. They wanted somebody to come up and just realize how fucked everything was and how nobody was having a good time. And that's kind of what Trump was.
Yeah.
Trump was the guy that came out and just riffed.
Yeah.
He went out there with no material. He just went out there and riffed. And he went, when I heard, and I'm sure you've seen this speech where he talks about Ben Carson going after his mother with a hammer and trying to stab his friend. This was one of the funniest things. He was speaking and he was giving a stump speech. I don't know where it was. I think he wasn't in Iowa, but he was referencing Iowa. And he's talking about Ben Carson's book and that Ben Carson had admitted to going after his mother with a hammer and trying to stab his friend with a knife. I mean, these are and Trump is talking about it. Me and my friend were driving out of New York City. We were laughing so hard. I said, I said, he's going to win. I said, I'll tell you why he's going to win. I cannot stop watching this. I can't. I am so fixated by the idea that there's a guy like this on the national stage and he's saying whatever he wants. There was something intoxicating about that. And a lot of the things he was saying were horrible, but he was saying them. And then on the other side, you had Hillary Clinton, who was just a scripted or careful person. And I'm like, it's just boring.
Yeah.
So to me, I'm like, sometimes the entertaining person wins because you can't take your eyes off them.
Well, in this case, for sure. I mean, in that it was a perfect, polar opposite between him and her.
Yeah.
No experience versus vast amounts of experience.
Right.
No real experience in the real world versus vast amount of experiences.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot going on between the two of them. It's a bad way to choose how the world runs.
Yes,
it really is.
It's very bad to look at candidates and go, who's the most entertaining?
Yeah, well, it's also a bad idea to have one person, right? It's a bad idea to have this same system that was in place back when there was fucking, 1,000 people here.
But I think we really don't. Like, we have one person that seems like we have one figurehead, but we have kind of this permanent political class of people, a nexus of powerful institutions where you have career politicians, career diplomats, career military service people that kind of don't leave. So I think that's one of the reasons that we haven't changed the system is because one person can't ever do that much. Even though Trump is wild and crazy and he's done a lot of bad things, I don't think he would be allowed to deviate from many of the policies like that his predecessors had kind of established. I think that like the American government, and that's why the term like the deep state, which a lot of people ridicule, it's an undeniably true thing. I mean, our policies are not just one guy gets into office and he goes, here's how it is.
Right.
I mean, it's the result of a lot of, private corporations lobbying, forming an agenda in a non-democratic way. They're not accountable. And a lot of these, people that work at the CIA or the FBI or the NSA, a lot of them are appointed. They're not elected.
Right.
We have no oversight. We have, I think it's 22 intelligence agencies now. It's
really that many?
I mean, it's something absurd.
How many could you name?
FBI, CIA, NSA, probably DEA.
Is DEA an intelligence agency?
I wouldn't say it's an intelligence
More
agency. They
law
probably have
enforcement,
intelligence capabilities, I
Right.
would imagine.
FBI, CIA, NSA.
There's
DEA.
one in, the DIA,
that?
Directorate of Intelligence.
Oh.
The Pentagon. I mean, I don't know if that's an entire agency, but I think I think it has the capabilities. But we have
Yeah.
all of these different. I don't know if it's 22, but it's a lot.
And they're all competing with each other,
They're
too.
all competing because they all want money. They all want a budget.
Right.
They all want, and that's the thing. People talk about the deep state. It's like,
Look at them all.
yeah, look at these guys. Here they are.
Jesus.
Here are all the people that are.
You know what? When it gets me
Listening.
excited?
Yeah.
The fucking space troops. Now we have space troops.
Force. That's going to be good. And why not? Why not a Space Force?
Well, eventually, right? Eventually, you're going to have it.
Oh, yeah.
So why not have it now?
We have, I don't know what the National Geospatial Intelligence thing does. They can't be any more relevant than Space Force.
Click on that one. National Geospatial
Geospatial-
Intelligence Agency.
They can't be any less important than the Space Force.
What? Who the fuck knows? How many people are working there? Employees, 16,000.
16,000.
Look at their motto. Scroll down a little bit. Scroll down. Know Earth, show the way, understand the world. What?
That's like
founded in '96.
Yeah.
Clinton probably did it. It's probably where he keeps his chicks.
I mean, this right, but this is what I mean. Like, what the hell are these people doing?
And what is it? 16,000 employees with their motto: know the Earth, show the way, understand the world.
That sounds like on a yoga studios.
Yeah.
I mean, it's absurd. But they get billions of dollars to do whatever.
Yeah.
Listen.
Put
Yeah.
that back up there with the description. Look at what good it says there. It's under the United States Department of Defense, an intelligence agency of the United States intelligence community with the primary mission of collecting, analyzing, and distributing geospatial intelligence in support of national security.
Which is what?
What does that mean?
What the hell is geospatial intelligence? I mean, this is what I mean. This is insane. And if you ask a question, if you go, well, what do these guys do? People yell at you.
Yeah.
And they start
You don't
calling.
know?
You're a conspiracy theorist.
And
I'm
you
like,
don't know this?
I just want to know what geospatial intelligence is.
Right.
It's probably something simple, and now I'm going to look like an idiot.
It says it's intelligence about the human activity on Earth derived from the exploitation and analysis of imagery and geospatial information that describes, assesses, and visually depicts physical features and geographically referenced activities on the Earth.
I mean, this is.
I think that's how we would know, like, that North Korea has a bomb
It's like,
site.
is
or
it
what-
satellites?
Probably.
Satellite
Yeah.
imagery?
Yeah, I think so.
I guess. Well, there's probably a satellite agency too. There's
I think
fucking
we've
hundreds
uncovered a
of them.
scam. I think we've uncovered a pretend agency that nobody. There's a guy right now panicked in the geospatial.
16,000 other employees going, shit, we're gonna have to find a real job. We've been studying shipping docks from space.
Yeah, we just got outed. Yeah, what are they? Yeah, I mean, it's just. We just got outed on Rogan as completely.
Yeah. Oh, come on.
She looks busy.
That girl's not really there. That is an actress. 100% that's an actress.
But this is what I mean. If you look into this stuff, it starts to get crazy. Mm-hmm. The amount of people that are doing things we have no idea what they're doing. I mean, I just did a private gig at the Bethesda Country Club in Maryland. Okay, it's I'm still doing private gigs, sadly, but you gotta it is
gotta do what you gotta do.
Gotta do what you gotta do. I go to the Bethesda Country Club, Maryland. It's the entire 10 counties around Washington, D.C. are the wealthiest counties in the world. I mean, in our country. And it's not because they're selling crab cakes. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's all defense industry, Raytheon, DynCorp, things you've never heard of. And it was a good gig. They were funny. I got up and I was like, are we carving up Venezuela? They all laughed. They're all clapping. They're into it. You know, they liked it. Some people get mad. I said last week I did a fundraiser for human trafficking victims. This week I'm with the traffickers. You guys are a lot more fun. And they're clapping. They love it. They're leaning in to being.
Well, that's good.
They're
leaning in.
They're morally compromised.
Well, they're also hired a comedian to fuck with them.
Yes, that's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, they expected it. It's not like it came out of nowhere.
Well, I mean, it's like, so that's the thing. It's like Trump bad. But I don't know what the geospatial people are up to. I don't have to. I don't want to throw my hat in with geospatial intelligence.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. I mean, maybe we need it. But listen again. 2 stand-up comedians talking about what the world needs.
Yeah, it's not great.
It's fucking terrible.
It's not great.
I've been trying to stress this more than ever because the fact that I have a microphone and people are listening. Don't fucking pay attention to me. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm not right.
Well, the best thing is, listen, you don't know. You might be right.
I might be right, but I'm definitely not an expert.
The best thing is if you go on Twitter and a comedian will tweet something really, it's like we're living in fascism, and they get like 400,000 likes. And then the next tweet, have you ever seen this? They go, and while you guys are here, check out my web series. And you go, are we living in if we're living in fascism,
you can't have a web series.
You can't have a web series. And do I have the time to luxuriate in your web series? Or should I start arming myself to overthrow the government? What should I look at my phone? I'm like, which way should I go?
Yeah.
But that's all they do. They go, by the way, while you're here, I have a Patreon. We're doing a project. I'd like you to throw a few bucks there, but we're living in fascism and,